Many moons ago, in this diocese, there was the presentation of bishops' medals to folks who have done outstanding service in the diocese. I am thrilled, delighted, honored to resurrect that tradition this evening. Some of those folks who are gathered here are going to be honored for their ministry and work in our diocese. Commendation for the first one reads, for outstanding service to the Diocese of Missouri and serving as treasurer for the diocese for 11 years. Your dedication to service and financial health and well-being and the well-being of the financial resources entrusted to us as stewards has been a blessing and a gift. We honor the many benefactors whose legacy continue to benefit us to this day. Jesus reminds us that where your treasure is, there your heart will be also. Your heart has been and remains on serving God's people. Tom Pedrick, who is not here this evening, he had the audacity to be in Mexico enjoying warm weather. His medal and certificate will be presented at a later date. For outstanding service to the Diocese of Missouri and the Cathedral Church for over 30 years, your dedication to offering holy hospitality in the upkeep and maintenance of the cathedral facilities and offering spaces of welcome, often behind the scenes, has been and continues to be a blessing in many ways. You have served during the joys and the challenges throughout these many years of service, and yet your pride in your work has never wavered. Your care for this sacred space and ensuring that everyone who enters these doors discovers anew the riches of Christ-centered welcome. Robert Buckley. Outstanding service to the Diocese of Missouri in the furtherance of excellence in formation and education for, I won't count the years, your dedication to theological formation, educational rigor, and your tireless work in the ministry of reconciliation has shaped this diocese and countless lay and ordained leaders across the wider church. We give particular thanks for your vision in establishing the Episcopal School for Ministry in 1999, the many ways you continue to impact knowledge and wisdom to generations of leaders across the diocese. The Reverend Dr. Warren Cruz. Outstanding service to the Diocese of Missouri and serving as historian and archivist. Your love and dedication to preserving not just the formal history of this diocese, but also the stories of the very real people who called it home is simply inspiring. History grounds and orients us in our past so that we can better navigate our future. You are the embodiment of the living history of this diocese, making real the adage that history is not a burden on the memory, but an illumination of the soul. Sue Rakoff. I have to to tell you, it's really hard working in an office, asking the archivist about the medals that you're going to give one to. For outstanding service to the Diocese of Missouri, and serving as the chair of the Dismantling Racism Commission for over 40 years. Your distinguished and outstanding devotion to the work of racial reconciliation and justice is outpaced only by your generosity of spirit and empowering servant leadership. You have empowered and uplifted countless others to engage in the hard work of racial reconciliation and justice. Your life has been a shining example of the words of the prophet Micah, to do justice, to love kindness, and to walk humbly with your God. The Reverend Deacon Chester Hines. For outstanding service to the Diocese of Missouri, and serving as a dedicated, compassionate, and deeply pastoral servant leader, you have embodied the hospitality of Christ's presence in many ways, in the ways that you have selflessly enabled others to claim their voice and have been a healing balm in times of trouble and triumph. You have been and remain a builder of bridges and a layer of foundations towards a more Christ-centered future. Donna Erickson. For outstanding service to the Diocese of Missouri in promoting and enhancing the gift of sacred music. You have inspired generations for over 40 years to love and appreciate the beauty of sacred music, both here at the cathedral, and in countless congregations and communities across this diocese. Music leadership is one of your many spiritual gifts, which has been and continues to be used for the glory of God, for the inspiration of others in seeking God's heart, and for guiding us towards a deeper sense of wonder, love, and praise. Canon William Pat Partridge. For outstanding service to the Diocese of Missouri in offering Christian leadership and pastoral excellence in both lay and ordained ministry. You have, for the last 38 years, been faithful to Christ's call to offer loving service and generous compassion to communities of faith throughout the diocese and across the Episcopal Church. Your dedication to caring alike for young and old, rich and poor, strong and weak, has been an example and an inspiration to clergy and laity alike. You have tirelessly sought to ensure that no one is lost, left out, or left behind. You have guided communities of faith to discover their purpose and their place in God's reign, always with a cheerful spirit and an easy smile that transcends the trials and triumphs of ministry. You have, in countless ways, been the embodiment of Christ's unfenced love. The Reverend Canon Doris Westfall. before I do the last one, I have to say it is really hard to hide things from your canon to the ordinary. For outstanding ministry and service in the Diocese of Missouri, in being a beacon of hope and hospitality and holiness. For 131 years, the light of Christ's love has shone forth from this bastion of hope. This community of faith, in many ways, reflect God's dream of a Christ-centered community. This has been a community that has and continues to be focused on service to those outside the confines of their walls. They have continued the legacy of caring for children, serving the needy, and gathering regular for worship, fellowship, Bible study, and prayer. A small community with an outsized heart for ministry. In many ways, this community of faith has not just survived, but they have thrived as they answered Jesus' call to discipleship. This is the first to St. Mark's, Portland, Missouri. Come on up. To tell you a personal story. Canon Doris and I are always talking about you. You do all the things. A faithful congregation who at one point had a boys' school and who continues that tradition by offering backpacks for kids in their community, who had their parish hall upgraded with Wi-Fi so they could be a hotspot in their community of 82 people. They make up about 10% of the entire community. You do the math. It is an honor to honor you this evening for the work that you do. Congratulations. Would all of our honorees please stand so we can give you a round of applause. Thank you all so much for your service to this diocese. Walk in love, as Christ loved us and gave himself for us, an offering and a thanksgiving to God.